Hey guys, welcome back to Cheat Sheet Pros. Today is Sunday, April 9th, 2023, and tomorrow morning I am going to release the sports betting scoreboard, which is a new tab on our MLB cheat sheet, and I just wanted to do a quick tutorial and run through it. I've got a lot of drive time for work this week, so it's going to be hard for me to answer questions, so I figured I would just do a quick tutorial video. So this is more for our sports betting crew that wants to look at the Vegas number versus our custom model. So I made a separate sheet so you can flip down here. You can see the full set of games. I went ahead and put this in for today. And we're going to walk through, just kind of take a look at it. So what this is going to do, let me catch my breath. I had to run and let my dogs out. So this is going to be your Vegas numbers over here. Vegas has a total on each game, and that's broken down to a team implied total, which is then broken down to a win percentage. And then the cheat sheet model is going to be over here on this side. And you can see we do the same thing. We break it down in a team total as well as a game total, so you can compare Vegas versus what we have and also the win percentage. And then we're going to compare the Vegas win percentage versus the Cheat Sheet Pro win percentage. And we're going to break it down to see where the advantage is. So if it's more than 10%, it highlights green. I think, yeah, there was one right there. I may drop this down to 7 or 8%. I don't know how common over 10 is going to be. We're going to get some wild numbers. When pitchers have one start and they've got a monster ERA, XFIP, it's going to generate a kind of a splat on the radar, something a little bit more than what we're used to seeing. But anyways, this is how we're going to break it down here. We're going to see an advantage. And then also, if you see a difference, a large difference here, like for example, Tampa today, they released that at 7.5. We projected it at 9.3. You're going to get a little like the over, like the over, like the over, slight lean to the over. So it'll just kind of give you a little indication of if we like the over, the under. I think this Tampa game ended 11 runs, so it went over. I don't really know what these other games have done. But then our model here, if we have a difference of a full 2 runs or more in this column, which it won't highlight for me, we're going to have this little run line box pop up that says run line. So for example, Tampa would have been the first one. We projected it 6.4 to 2.9, so we projected it to cover a run line bet. So anytime there's a difference of 2 or more runs, you're going to get a boop little red line indicator. So they ended up winning. I think it was 11-0. So that one won. Cleveland, Seattle, I can't even remember what the final score of that game was. I think they went 3-1. And then Milwaukee would have been another one. We also had the advantage over here on that. We had it 5.9 to 3.1. Milwaukee covered the run line. I think it was 6-1. San Francisco, it was close, but they covered the run line. It was 3-1 or 4-1, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, I think this one lost. I think this was a 1-run game in here. But anyways, it'll just give you something to consider for a play. Now, these aren't saying, hey, this is a model game, you have to bet this. I'm saying look at it. It may spit out some numbers and say, hey, we really like this team, but that team may say, hey, it's a Sunday, we're going to sit our best 5 players, and then we're going to change the pitcher and do all kinds of wacky stuff. So it's not as bad as NBA, but just, keep in mind. Over here, we've got the opponent, or actually both starting pitchers, and then we have their record on the season, their ERA, their XFIP, their WHIP. We talked about the difference between ERA and XFIP in another video. And then also, I like looking through game logs and seeing what they've done in their last couple of starts. So I have 2 columns here so you can quickly see what they did in their last start. And I just pull in innings pitched, earned runs allowed, and strikeouts. So if you're flipping through here, you get kind of a good idea. Like, for example, this game here, Johan, whatever his name is, went 5.2, 4 earned runs, 4 Ks. Kopech, 5.2, 7 earned runs, 5 Ks. So it kind of gives you an idea. Now you'll get some pitchers here where maybe we don't have a game log, or maybe he threw less than the minimum innings that we're pulling. I believe it's 5 innings, and they may not pull up here at the beginning of the season. So what I've done for this line is then it's going to go back and look at their stats from last year and pull those in just so we can still calculate and generate a number, but it might not show this last start here. This over here, these are your team runs the last 6 games. I always like looking, seeing like, hey, this team scored 4, 4, 5, 7, and 9 runs So I just like seeing them in a little box format. So here you can glance at this and say, okay, Philly really hadn't been doing that good. They're averaging 3 runs a game, 1, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. That's not great. But if you come down here to Tampa and they've got 5, 6, 10, 7, 9, 11, they're scoring a lot more runs per game. So you may look at this and this may push you to an over, a team total over. It may push you to a prop bet. Whatever it is that tickles your fancy, this is here to help you out. Over here we have our bullpen. This is for the last 10 games. And instead of putting in numbers, the average person, they don't understand like an ERA of 3.8, 3.7, 3.3, and it's confusing for them. So I made it super simple and I just put in the rank. So ranked against all the other teams, people understand 1 versus 28, 2 versus 23. And what we're ranking is the ERA, the WHIP. K9 doesn't really need to be in there. I put it in there just for, I don't know why, just because. And then we have our home run per 9, which home runs allowed per 9 innings, and we rank those. So really what you're looking at is ERA, WHIP, K9. WHIP is walks and hits per innings pitched, so that's going to give you an idea if they put a lot of people on base or whatnot. And this is the perfect example. Look right here's this Tampa Bay. They're number 1 in ERA, number 2 in WHIP, and number 2 in home runs allowed per 9. So that means they are a really good bullpen. I also put the bullpen ERA over here for some additional calculations. And so they have a bullpen ERA of 1.91. Now when you come down here and look at Oakland, they rank 28th in ERA, 23rd in WHIP, 20th in home runs allowed per 9, and they have a bullpen ERA over the last 10 games of 5.74. So I think it's crucial to realize that this is over the last 10 games and not the full season. If it's over the full season, all the numbers kind of migrate to an average and they fall in the middle and there's not a lot of differences. But if you look at the last 10 games rolling across this 162 games that they do or whatever, I think it's 162. It's a crap ton of games. We're just going to put it that way. But if you just look at the last 10, then that will account for if someone's injured. And once they get 10 games down the road, you're going to say, okay, well, whoever stepped in for him, now what do their numbers look like? And it's going to give you a good glimpse. But you can kind of see some differences here. Like, for example, White Sox right now have a really bad bullpen. This one, Yankees, good, which they're always good. Flip down here. This one's shocking. I didn't realize this. Milwaukee has a strong bullpen. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 2-6-3. And they actually popped up on our run line and a over 10% advantage. So this is something for you guys to play with. Have fun with it. Take a look at it. Lots of times people will message me and say, hey, I want your bet for the day. Well, I might not have a bet for the day. Summers are extremely busy for me. I even debated not doing a baseball sheet because it's just exhausting. But I love baseball. That is one of my favorite sports. That's one of the first sports I started playing as a kid and I followed growing up. So I love baseball. So what I did with this sheet is I made it a lot easier for me to update in the mornings, get it updated, get it out there, and then the lineups auto update. We went over that in other videos, but it puts everything out there for you so you've got it. So if I'm working and I got 2 or 3 days a week where I'm not going to play or I'm not even going to look at games except for my season-long DFS, I always want to put this out here so you guys have that information at your fingertips, because what we're ultimately trying to do is create a sheet where we put everything you would want to see in one spot and then set it right in front of you, and then you can kind of look through it and decipher it and then come up with your plays. But believe me, when I do have time, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to post my plays. If I make bets, I put them in the chat. I put them on Twitter. And as always, if you're not one of our members and you want to play with these sheets, join our free Facebook group. The link is in the description. I post them there on Thursdays every week, and then usually 1 or 2 other days a week. I think I posted them there Saturday, and I posted them there today for everybody to play with as we're making changes. But anyways, just wanted to do a quick hitter video, keep this less than 10 minutes, and kind of explain what is on this tab and what it can do for you. Good luck.